hope you're ready. Here I go.
I'm the Harem reviewer. I review it so you don't have to. For today's racist video, I'm going to be taking a look at a fairly newer show, which is the hidden dungeon only I can enter. Before starting this, I had very low expectations since at the time of this recording, it has a 6.3 on Mal, which is pretty damn bad. I doubt I was going to like it, and I also don't have too much to say about it either, which is why this will be a shorter video too. Just like with Smartphone or Invaders, I'm only reviewing this mess of a show because it's a harem, so I'm kinda forced to talk about it. So yeah, let's get this out of the way now. I don't like the show. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's still really shitty. And I guess I should explain why that is, so let's get started, fart knockers.
Master, are you? No, can she be?
So Dungeon takes place in a fantasy world where it centers around a dude named Noir. He's the son of a nobleman who also happens to be the poorest and least powerful noble because it be how it do. He's supposed to start working at a library but then got cucked because some richer asshole took his place, I think. So after that, he meets up with Emma, who's also his smoking hot childhood friend. She tells him that he should enter the Hero Academy because he has a really powerful skill. That skill allows him to ask a sage about anything about the world.
What's 9 plus 10?
21?
However, he barely uses it because he gets a massive headache after using it. So Noir asks the sage how to get stronger so he could pass the academy entrance exam. He gets a headache, Emma Watson kisses him, and I get a massive erection. Noir then goes to a hidden dungeon, walks around a bit, and then finds a secret room that has Olivia trapped inside it. Apparently, she's one of the best adventurers in the world, and she's been trapped here for 200 years. Not sure how she survived like this for so long, especially since she couldn't have eaten anything either. So anyway, Olivia gives Noir 3 of her skills because why the fuck not? The first of those is Get Creative, which allows him to create basically any spell he wants. Bestow lets him give skills to other people, and Editor lets him edit his and other people's skills. However, the downside to this is that all these skills require life points to use, and if Noir uses up all of the points he has, then he'll die. So after this, Noir and Emma take the academy exam, they do some shit, and then, oh wow, they passed the exam, yay! And that wraps up the first episode.
Dear pesky plumbers.
Honestly, not too bad, but certainly far from good. Let's start with the pros first. I do enjoy how Noir is from a family whose nobility, but also happens to be at the bottom of nobility. Usually fantasy series have their main characters either come from the lowest class, highest class, or sometimes just dead in the middle. I don't know, it's nothing big or anything, just a small thing I enjoyed since it's different. I like how simple the spells Olivia gave Noir are. They're easy to understand and they allow him to do basically whatever he wants but at a cost. Finally, Emma Watson has big bobas, so that's always good. Now time for the stinky parts. Noir's sage ability is kinda cool, but it's also extremely broken. It lets him know whatever he wants, and the only drawback is that he gets a bad headache for a short while. Plus, all he has to do is kiss Emma and it'll go away, so now there's basically no downside to it. Also, he's a fucking wimp for barely using this before. If his family struggles on a daily basis like this, then he should have used this ability to help them out. But I guess he can't take dealing with a small headache. What a faggot. Another thing that's really dumb is the quote hidden dungeon Noir enters. The entrance is just a hole in between 2 big rocks somewhere in the mountains. That doesn't look very hidden to me. Also, I kinda find it hard to believe that it's been over 200 years and no one else has managed to find Olivia in this dungeon. I know you have to find a hidden switch and say a phrase to open up a giant door, but still, I'm not buying it. There had to have been adventurers that had come here and manage to find her. Plus, she's only on the second floor, which isn't that far from the entrance. Finally, there's the entrance exam, which is pretty boring. It's obvious that Noir is going to pass and make it into the academy, but I guess there isn't really much that could have been done about it. There's nothing awful about this episode, but there isn't much that I found super interesting. And I think the same can be said for the rest of the series too, but to a lesser extent. Basically, there's nothing here that's offensively bad, but at the same time, nothing's really good. I don't feel anything when watching it besides getting hard during a couple scenes.
You fucking stupid bitch!
After watching the first 2 episodes, I honestly thought this would be a bad show, but would at least be somewhat entertaining. It turned out I was wrong for once in my life, and it just got worse as it went on, or at least for the most part, but we'll get to that shortly. The rest of the series is mainly made up of episodic stories. Noir will join a guild, he'll help a lolly forest spirit, he'll cure someone that has a curse which would kill them, etc. A lot of the ideas here were pretty typical to see in a fantasy series, which is why I usually wasn't interested. Not to say Dungeon is a generic bland piece of garbage, because I don't think it is. It's bad, don't get me wrong, but I've seen worse.
We're gonna be talking about the penis!
Let's take a look at episode 6 for example. So in this episode, Noir goes to a higher floor in the dungeon and finds a black lion who looks very scary. But he has a gay little flower on his head, and it turns out he's actually a nice lion. Apparently, he was with an adventurer who was exploring this dungeon, and he got separated from him over 350 years ago. Eventually, they find him, but he turned into a zombie, but then Noir unzombified him, and that's it. So now the elf guy is back to normal and then leaves the dungeon to go back to his hometown. However, he can't take the lion with him because his town is racist and they don't like black lions because they eat too much fried chicken. So the lion starts crying, Noir tells him that he wants to be friends, he takes him home with him, and then the episode ends. Just like with most of the other episodes, it's tolerable, I guess, but I also don't feel much when watching it. It's like, yep, this is a show, and I am watching it. Honestly, this episode is one of the weirder ones. It kinda feels like a story you'd see in a kid's show. Besides Olivia's tits being shown in all their glory, I could see this being shown on Nick Jr. Actually, I could see a lot of harems being aired on Nick Jr. too. There's Yosuga no Sora, Kisexis, Hensuki, Boku no Pico. So yeah, I sadly don't have anything to say about its plot. It has some unique elements in it, but for the most part, it's filled with a good amount of ideas that you've probably seen elsewhere and probably done a lot better too. Now that's not to say the entirety of the show is like this, because surprisingly enough, the last 2 episodes are a bit better. In episode 11, Noir and Emma continue exploring the dungeon and come across the Death Chain, which is a monster that's kept Olivia here for 200 years. It's taken the form of Olivia and is an exact copy of her, so that means she's super duper powerful. So they try to fight her, but can't win, so they run away. After this, we get a flashback of Olivia remembering the time when she technically got someone killed. Basically, there's this kid who wants to be an adventurer and wants Olivia to become her master and train him. She refuses him multiple times because she's a tsundere. But then she teaches him some shit, he fights a monster, but then dies. So now she's sad because now she can't get a schnitzel up her coochie and realizes that maybe she should have been a better teacher. Then in the present, Noir, Emma, and the other gal pals fight the evil Olivia. They win and now Olivia's free. Honestly, not a bad way to end the season. In fact, it's actually sorta decent, or at least for this show it is. Obviously, I still don't like these episodes, but at the very least, I was surprised by them. The flashback was alright, and having Olivia be set free is something I was not expecting. I thought eventually she was gonna be freed by Noir, but I didn't think it'd happen so soon. Because of this, the next season will or should feel notably different. Olivia can now train Noir, teach him new skills, and explore the rest of the dungeon with him. However, this is assuming the series will get another season, which I highly doubt. I'm just saying this is a fairly good final episode. A lot of things you'd want in a season finale are in here. either. Still though, these are only 2 episodes, and like I've said, the rest of the season is kinda poo-poo caca. But yeah, that's about it for the plot. Now to talk about the girls and their quote-unend quote plot.
Run.
Similar to the plot, none of the characters in Dungeon are bad, however, none of them are good either. Noir isn't the worst harem protagonist, and I wouldn't even say he's bad. He's just kinda boring and forgettable. He feels like a character that's been done before, but I guess I take him over other harem main characters that irritate me. He sure as hell is a lot more tolerable than Kazuki from Mabaraho, Skune from Vampire, Seiji from Love Tyrant, etc. Now the main character being kind of meh usually isn't a problem, but the girls aren't that good either, which is not epic. Because of this, today's waifu war is going to be very short and not very exciting either. So blame the show, not me.
Number 6.
Maria Fiona Albert. Yeah, I don't remember this girl, so, next.
Number 5.
Alice Starga. So Alice is Noir's little sister, and she's pretty hot. She likes her brother, and I ship them because I'm a horrible human being. Honestly, I'd put her at the number 4 spot, but there's 2 scenes that prevented me from doing so.
Number 4.
Alina Stongs. Alina is a teacher at the PogChamp Academy, and she's also kind of mean. I was going to put her as worst girl, but I forgot who Maria was. Plus, there were 2 scenes of her that gave me a massive erection. The first of those was this scene in episode 3 where she sits on Noir's stomach and then even on his face. I wish she'd do that to me and then fart down my throat. There would be a lot of cum coming from my penis hole if that ever happened. And then there's this scene where she stuffs her tits in his face along with Emma because why the fuck not? So you know what? She's not too bad, or at least not the bad kind of bad. She's bad alright, as in bad good, not bad bad. Also, fuck badminton.
Number 3.
Lola. Lola is a receptionist of the guild that Noir and Emma go to, and she's very sexy too. She likes Noir because it's a harem show, and that's about it. Olivia Servant. Olivia is one of the best adventurers in the world, and she also has a nice pair of bobas. Emma Brightness. Emma is best girl. If you disagree, then do me a favor and go fuck yourself. She's in the best Ichi scenes in the show, and I want her to shove her tongue down my cockhole. She has the best tits in the show too. She's hot, very sexy, and gives me a raging triple S class erect penis to the 64th power.
So I decided to get some advice from my master. Hidden dungeon only I can enter.
He said it! He said it!
Dungeon was animated by Okurutu Moburo, which, if you haven't heard of them, then don't worry, neither have I. They were established in December 2017 and have since made basically nothing besides this and a couple other shows. Just like with its plot and characters, the show doesn't look bad nor good. It's not shit, it's not lit, it doesn't piss me off one little bit. It's a below average animated show that'll sometimes have some decent stuff in it and will sometimes look like anal fudge too. But overall, there isn't much to talk about here either.
I'm not exactly, into little kids though.
I don't remember any of the tracks. Nothing was bad, nothing was good. You get the fucking point by now.
So the whole lot of you will be able to vent all your pent-up stress at the sight of these ridiculous shitty normies.
A large majority of this show is so inoffensive, it kinda pisses me off. I have basically nothing to talk about, so I guess let's wrap up this video.
Hey Noir, look there!
Big chungus, big chungus, big chungus.
This anime sucks the donkey horse sperm shit piss flippity floppity ching chang ching chong fucking ass crack out of my pubic nostrils vomit turds. I don't like this show because it could have been decent, but it was mostly just boring with some arousing ecchi scenes. The show tricked me into thinking it would get better or at least not be boring, but I fell for its shittiness. Dungeon is a very forgettable show and I don't recommend it. I'd only recommend watching the ecchi scenes on YouTube, Pornhub, DeviantArt, or wherever the hell it is you clowns watch your child pornography. The hidden anus only I can enter gets a 3.95 out of 10. That's right, gamers, it's 0.01 points lower than Mother of the Goddess's Dormitory because I said so. Fuck this show and fuck you, Joe Biden. You think I like paying for more gas and food and other shit? Let's get a hashtag going on Twitter and MySpace. Post hashtag fuck Joe Biden, let's go Brandon, and let's go the hidden dungeon only I can enter. Alright, that's the end of the video. I'm outta here, shit sniffers.